Hi, my name is Yvonne Mkondani, a presenter with the Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation, and this is my COVID-19 story. So I remember it was a Saturday, specifically the 9th of August, and I was in bed. I didn't have any plans of going to work that day. I was actually off. So I was on WhatsApp, and my boss, Mr. Nyambavu, sent a message on our work WhatsApp group, actually saying that he was looking for me. I couldn't get through to my number, and I wondered why he was looking for me because it was quite early, hey? So then he came to my inbox, and he was like, comrade, how are you doing? Have the people from the company, as he said it, gotten in touch with you? And the moment that he mentioned the company, I knew he meant people from the Ministry of Health, of which they hadn't been in contact with me. So I sort of knew what he wanted to say to me, and then he called me. There was no need for him to really tell me that I tested positive to COVID-19, because just the thought of the people from the Ministry of Health looking for me, to me, meant that I had tested positive to COVID-19. I remember I freaked out. I just couldn't take it. Like, a lot of emotions ran through me. I couldn't really take it in. I couldn't absorb it. I mean, I'm just used to being on the news desk, presenting the news, giving information to the nation. Hi, Zimbabwe, today we had 7 new cases of COVID-19. I never thought at one moment that I would be part of those figures. So here I was, part of the figures, part of the statistics, a COVID-19 victim. And it was really tough for me. I started sweating, I panicked, that's all I can say. And I was lying in bed with my young sister, and the worst thing was that my phone was on loudspeaker, and she could hear everything. And my sister doesn't really take bad news really well, so she panicked. She actually got into a panic attack at that moment, and I was like, God, what's happening? I haven't even taken this, this news in, and here I am now with someone who is in some state that I cannot even understand. So from the moment I got the news to having someone who's in a panic attack, someone who cannot take the news well, and I'm the one who was tested positive to COVID-19, I'm trying to process it and really think, okay, could she be positive as well, because she's asthmatic? So that's where my stress was really. And I started looking back and thinking of all the people I had associated with, all the places I'd gone to, because I had gotten tested, I think, 2 weeks prior. So you can imagine what I did within those 2 weeks or 3 weeks up to the point that I got my results. So I really couldn't bring myself into telling a lot of people. I only managed to tell 3 people, my mother being one of those people. And the process of contact tracing, obviously, I then had to get into communication with the people that I had been in contact with. So that made it really difficult for me, because I didn't really open up to a lot of people. So the psychological toll, the mental stress, it really got to me. Sometimes I would sit there and I'll just cry. I didn't know why I was crying, but I'll just cry, because, it was just that bad. I started asking myself a lot of questions, like, how could you be so reckless? How could you not do this? But I remember almost every time I tried wearing my face mask, I would always sanitize. I would always try and maintain social distancing. So how then had I contracted this deadly virus that I'm always telling the nation about? I'm always telling people to be careful. I always tell people to wear their face masks. I always tell people to maintain social distancing. So then how come I have COVID-19? I couldn't come to terms with it. I then went for retesting, and I tested negative, and it was time for me to go back to work. But I wasn't ready. I was fit, I was okay, but I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to face the world. I wasn't even ready to just get out of our gate. What more going to work? I think I actually developed a phobia. I just couldn't mix and mingle with people, because, hey, COVID. That's what I was thinking. But I've recovered. So you want me to go out there and mix and mingle with people? What if these people are going to give me this virus again? I couldn't afford testing positive to COVID-19 for the second time. What if I don't do very well the second time around? So it was difficult for me. I remember, if my boss is watching this, he's going to kill me. But I told him that I wasn't feeling well. Because honestly, I just didn't want to come to work, so I had to come up with a story. You know what, I'm sneezing a lot, but I just wasn't ready. Mentally, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to mix and mingle with people, and I was afraid of the stigmatization that would come with it. Here's Yvonne Mkondani, the news presenter who tested positive, and now she's back to work. She wants to mingle with us. Kokana akatizaza. I just wasn't ready for that. But then, you know what? The day came, I had to go to work, and I had to use work transport. Ndapinda mkombe kubasa. You just think everyone is looking at you. Chero vasiri kukutarisa. They were probably minding their own business. But because, you know, I had these ideas in my mind, I'm the COVID girl. Saka vari kundityka. So now I'm back at work. I'm taking it one day at a time. It hasn't been particularly easy, but I'm trying. And I do have some people who have been supportive throughout this journey. So they've made it quite easy for me. And now I'm back and I'm more careful as ever. So to all of you out there, COVID-19 is real. Take care of yourself. Be careful. Wear your mask, sanitize, maintain social distancing, and above all, just be prepared, because you never know. Just like me, you may find yourself COVID-19 positive, although, you know, you take all these precautions, because this is what happened to me. So when that day comes, make sure that you're able to take the news well, do not panic, and know that COVID-19 is just one of those things, you know, that you can fight and live to tell the story.